Moving on to page 105, guys. Advertising costs, total $9,500. Leads, we got 582. Cost per lead is $17. Closing ratio, nothing. Am I going to advertise again on that particular lead? Womp, womp, womp. Loser, gone. Next. The next one, appointment set, 5,200, 9%, bop, 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 and we move on. And that is something that we, as a general manager or somebody who is a general sales, whoever's in charge of advertising, whoever is ready to stroke a check, whoever's ready to authorize a PO, needs to be very aware of this so he can make good quality decision. Does that make sense? Any questions on that so far? Okay. If you guys go to page 106, you have another screen up there. And it shows you what that particular ad campaign did. And I think you should do that on every single ad campaign you have. If you have 20 different sources that you're advertising, whether it's $100 or $200,000, it doesn't matter. You need to look at that. Now, one of the things that I want to make sure that I discuss with you guys for a little bit is that there is such a thing as called unrealized value or unrealized immediate value, which is in a form of a branding. If you are out there creating this new entity, in Bill's case, he created, the power of three, the dog, or whatever it is. In our case, we created the Dream Maker. Charles is creating Charles Angels, or the Logan Show. What we are doing right there is we're creating a brand within a brand. We're taking the legitimacy of a Suzuki store or the legitimacy of a Chrysler store, but we're creating this beautiful brand for the public to say, wow, look at this. These guys are fun. Look how much, look at those crazy people. What are they doing? Wow, look at these people now. They're very well dressed. They're very professional. And they seem very down to earth. Look how he's talking to us. He's snuggling in right between me and my wife on our couch. He's just part of the family. Tom is laughing because he's got a dirty mind. Just leave that alone, man. Just check it out outside. But that being said, there is something where you have to kind of focus on that might take a little bit of time. Now, how much time should it take? I don't know. A month? 2 months? You immediately is going to have to start hearing people talking about it. Now, in other situations, you're one of those lucky few that you are in part of a good community and there's a lot of viewership, and the minute you run, it's like lights on. People come in. How long did it take, Mr. Gardner, for when you guys started running your infomercials, how long did it take before you started seeing traffic? The next day, it's lights on, right? It comes on. Charles, how long did it take before you guys started seeing a lot of equity in the market? Almost immediately. Dan, do we have some people sometimes take a week or two and they say, I'm done, I don't want to do it? Or 3 weeks?
We've had people in a week that were discouraged.
And then? Okay, so sometimes it takes a whole month. And we've noticed in our infomercials that the response rate comes in very high at the beginning, then it gets higher, then it gets higher, then it gets higher, and it just kind of like adds up on top of each other. And it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat that it works well. I didn't expect it. I always said, you turn an infomercial, it's going to bling right away. That was my belief. I've always believed that. But then since I started tracking those things into many different markets, because I was in Charlotte market, so I got instant results, that's all I knew. But I'm here to tell you, I stand corrected. In some markets, when you start an infomercial, it might take a week or two just to kind of get it, going. And then after that, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then on. This is something very important. By the way, when you're doing a blind piece of advertising, that life expectancy of that particular ad takes how long for it to wear off? 4, 5, 6 months. That's on a blind piece of advertising because you are representing yourself as part of a national type of representation of a network of dealerships and finance companies, for example. When you're doing a branding piece of advertising as it's your store, There's only so many people watching because that particular hook is grabbing a certain amount of people. And that life expectancy of that particular ad, at the most, is 2 weeks. When you're done after those 2 weeks, get ready for some what? Decline in response rate. Now here's the bad news. You're still paying the same amount of money. So what I suggest is you have something fresh every 2 weeks when it comes to an infomercial. So if you're producing your infomercial, Joe, once a month, change that. You can still produce it once a month. You can still produce it once a month. But what you want to do is you want to produce it once a month but have 2 shows. Because you're still going to spend the same amount of money the second half, and it's only fair for you to get the most amount of leads for it. Go ahead, buddy.
We switch up every week, and they come out every Thursday. We pop a new one every week. So
You did, and it still went down?
that's how we do it. But it's one of those things where it's like 30 minutes long, and there's like 7 or 8 dealerships.
Did you guys wear dark shirts when you did it? Just kidding, man.
So it's just, it's hard to say. It's one of those things where it's like 7 or 8 dealers that are involved in it, and they run like, I don't know what the ads are. They're like 7 minutes.
In their situation, guys, they're in Dallas, and an infomercial in Dallas could cost you 10 grand to run it. So what they do is they steal 7 minutes to kind of make it happen. That's why. I like what you just said again. Hey, what do you guys like? You like infomercial on Saturdays and Sundays, or do you like them during the week? You like them Thursday, Friday? You did them Saturday and Friday? Anybody?
Saturday usually works. We do it anytime we find a slot.
Go ahead, Mr. Miller. What do you do?
Anytime we find a slot.
Anytime you find a slot, you do them.
Depends on the cost effectiveness, yes.
Cost, you kind of measure it per lead and all that. Okay. Anybody try those on Mondays and Tuesdays? How do you like those? Sure. Right.
But then on Fridays, for whatever reason, it jumped to 15.
Yep.
And it was almost like clockwork on Saturdays, 30 every Saturday.
Okay. Here's something that I want you guys to pay attention. When you run an infomercial on a Saturday, is it more expensive or less expensive than you run it on Monday or Tuesday? More expensive. Okay. Should you have representation during those weekends? Absolutely. And I like Chris Miller's campaign. You run them all the time. And I tell you what I like. I love early morning between 6 and 8 during the week. Who can tell me why? Everybody's getting ready to work. What do? Make a phone call, right? Who's going to get them? Your BDC. What are they going to do then? Set an appointment. When? Same day, next day, right? They leave work. What do? They race to your dealership. They just watch your infomercial for half an hour. Okay, 15 minutes. Okay? What's the belief level at that point? High or low? High. What's their conviction? High or low? Are you trying to steal anything from them, or are you just trying to tell them what a great guy you are and here's the truth and we got a good deal, come see us, right? So you got their attention, they made a phone call, you set an appointment, and now what? They showed up at the dealership with a high believability level, and then what? Boom! You sold them a car. You ran a commercial, and you did what? And when? I kind of like it. Don't you? Does the dog like that? Now, some of you guys say, Helmy, well, I can pay $50 for an infomercial and it's midnight. After midnight, between midnight and 5 a.m. Should I do that? Man, I would run an infomercial anytime I can. As long as I have what? Cost per lead justification. Say, Helmy, well, my best cost per lead is during the week and I'm kind of doing good with it. Should I run anything on the Saturdays and Sundays? Absolutely. If you can afford it, do it. Why? Because there's a certain amount of people watching TV during the week that they're not watching on the weekend. There's a certain amount of people watching TV during the weekend that are not watching it late night, right? So that's why you want to have a representative. Well, Helmy, what kind of frequency do I have? All you can afford. Helmy, is there any other thing that we can discuss in advertising other than infomercials? Sure. We can discuss 30 seconds. You guys want to discuss 30 seconds? All right, what else are we going to talk about? I'll tell you why. Listen, you can do 30 seconds, but this year it's going to be very difficult. Are you like seriously considering competing against Obama? Are you like possibly going to win against Hillary Clinton? It's a political year. They're going to buy all the 30 seconds there. As a matter of fact, right now, some of my representatives are contacting the Clinton camp, and we're going to talk about them having an infomercial. Just kidding, guys. But it'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Hell of an idea. Who's going to do it? Frank, and, you know, I know who you're working with Mr. Bradford, and you can't find a finer person and a better dealership to work. And you know, you get a guy like you who's very sincere and honest and actually tells the people what to expect and how to do, and they like that. You know, Bill, he's about big production, big show, and people love it. I mean, they come to the dealership to buy a car so they can tell him, I don't like you. Okay, don't like me all the way to the bank. But then there's some people, huh? $4,800 a rattle, he'll take it. The second thing that happens is that they come to the dealership and they say, we're going to give you a t-shirt. You run out of t-shirts, don't you? Because people come in, they want the t-shirt. Charles, I've been telling people this and they don't believe me. The guy from Fox, did he call you this week or did he not? What did he say? An infomercial that has a rating. Can you give me a... Well, you know what? And what did I tell you when we got involved with you? Did I tell you that's going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay, you went to the West Virginia Auto Show. I'm not sure how that got on the schedule. Does even West Virginia count, guys? I mean, what?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, we know Detroit, we might know L.A., but West Virginia Auto Show. Okay, moving right along. So you guys have a West Virginia Auto Show, and you had the who there?
The Suzuki girls.
Okay, but beside the Suzuki, well, I know they were more important than the other people, but who else did you have there?
Just all the VIPs, the Blue Buds, the governor, the first lady, I mean...
Okay, and the governor, what did he do?
He said hey to us and got a picture with us.
Are you kidding? Come on.
We were on the front page, well, not the front page, but I was on the front page of one of the sections of the paper with the first lady. We got a lot of good exposure over it.
Yep. And let's talk about how can this happen versus just having an infomercial with a bunch of cars, a bunch of yahoos acting crazy. This is happening because we stick to a certain amount of rules, and those rules are very, very specific. First and foremost, guys, the cars are not the stars. Listen to me. The cars are not the stars. Some of you guys believe that the cars are the stars, and what you want to do is you want to run the cars for 30 minutes. No, you need to run the cars for about 20 minutes, maybe 18 minutes. Some of us go way on the other side and do all kind of crazy things for about 22 minutes and then run the cars for about 8 minutes. That's okay once. You just can't do it all the time. So let's get back into it. The cars are not the stars. The stars are the people in the community. That is who's the stars. And since you're a member of the community, you just became a star. Furthermore, we need to get the community involved. If it's Save a Pet program, let's get those cute little puppies running around, wiggling their little tail, peeing on the floor of your dealership. That's okay. People like that. I mean, look, I've just talked to her about it, and she goes, "Aw." And she hasn't even seen the puppy. But we're saving them, right? Adopt a pet, bring a bunch of cats, and then bring the army. There's a lot of good target practice material right there. Cats and army. Just kidding. No, I'm a dog guy. But that being said, can we bring the fire department? Do you like the fire department? Was that hot?
We actually got the fire department helping us drive cars through.
That's your tax dollars working, buddy. That's your, well, you know what else we told them? We told them, hey man, listen, we're filming at night. Can you go ahead and wet our lot because we like the reflection? He said, oh yeah, no problem. They were, I mean, you thought that they were in. They were in. And then they're talking to our girls, and they're like part of the skid. We brought in the police chief, and he comes in with his undercover car. I said, no, man, I need the blue lights. No problem. I need car number 15. Come on in. It brings it in with his blue lights, and we're filming it. Why? Because they're part of the community, and everybody wants a 15-second of fame, and we're giving them 5 minutes. And guess what happens at the end? And instead of you saying, come here and buy a car, here's the police chief said, well, I just want to say thank you so much for Logan Suzuki, because, you know, good businesses like that is that supports the community it's all about. And I want to take the opportunity to tell everybody, please come in and buy a car from this dealership, because they gave us the opportunity to tell you, look, don't drink and drive, take care of your kids. And this is Halloween. Make sure after you collect all the candy to take them to the hospital and get them x-rayed. Thank you so much, Charles. Okay. That's kind of neat, isn't it? Now, does that take a lot of time? Of course. Can you do it yourself? Absolutely you can. But why even worry about that if you're at 4800 Rattle? Just hire somebody to do it. And we have a beautiful lady named Davida that all she does is call with that sweet voice and common sense, and she tells them that, and boom, 100 calls at your show, and there's like 4 or 5 people lined up to come in and do it. And they're now what? Lined up what? They're literally lined up because they want to be on TV. Now, Robin, that's not your job. You understand? Because I know what Matt's going to do. Robin, you need to call 100 people and line up some ads. Are you thinking about that already, Matt? Yep. Okay, don't talk about bad or credit policies. I know some of you cannot help but bring the credit pimp or bring the credit stuff. Bill likes the credit, but he found a 500-pound individual that works for him, dressed him up in purple, and put a big old stick on there and said, what's your name? I'm the credit pimp. What do? We get everybody approved. What? I mean, it's funny, but it's just... Joe, am I hitting a little... Is that going to be you, purple? You're the credit what? You're the credit wizard? You're not the pimp, you're the wizard. Okay. But he was pimping, wasn't he? Okay. Now, could we relate to a couple of people doing that? Absolutely. Absolutely we can. But could we also hurt a few people's feelings doing that? Sure. So what we want to do, I'm not really worried about making everybody happy, but I want to make the majority of everybody happy. How does that sound? If I don't step on a couple of toes, I'm really not trying hard enough. I just don't want to step on all 10 toes. Okay? All 10 toes. Helmy said, all 10 toes. Right? Right. Game on. The secret to guaranteed viewership, put lots of kids on TV. You know, you bring the high school, you bring the cute little girls that wearing their tutus and they're running around, and you got Stacy and Anna, you know, talking to them and being hi honey, and they're smiling and all that, and you're done. I mean, you know, you put 15 kids on TV, how much did you guarantee? How many viewerships did you guarantee? If you put 15 kids on TV, what's your viewership?
30, at least 30.
At least 30? How many? Try 15,000. They're gonna. Have you seen kids text? Man, they are amazing. I mean, they got one there with that hand, one with that hand, and then they hook them up together, and they open one. I mean, they can land a shuttle with their texting, with their message on there. I mean, they're gonna tell everybody what time. And hey, Davida, sweetheart, let me ask you a question. Once we shoot an infomercial with a bunch of kids in there, what happens? How many requests do you get for DVDs and CDs? What did we had to develop a system where we could post the infomercial on the internet because we're not going to print any more DVDs. Okay, log in right here, watch the infomercial, we're good, go big. And it's kind of neat, and it's being YouTube, being emailed, right?
Right. They can download it and they can burn their own copies.
Sweet. It's kind of neat because Charles is not paying for any more burned copies. As a matter of fact, he never paid for any. Hey, what's the best places to find community participants? I just mentioned 4 or 5 of them. Any of you guys have different ideas? Schools? What else? They're everywhere, I know, but where is everywhere? Churches. Should you put somebody on a church? Yeah, listen, here's the rule on the church. As long as you mention somewhat of, let me say it the right way. As long as you mention God, but don't go in a specific religion, you're okay. Does that make sense? Let's not, you know, for example, we bring the Baptists, and all Catholics right now are going to throw rocks at us. And if we mention Catholics, all, you know, Muslims are going to just march. Let's not do that. Just let's mention God and leave that alone. Sounds good? Okay. What else? What else is another spot for community participants? Anybody can come up with one? civic organization. Hey, by the way, if there is a major conviction, let's say the Shriners are coming to your town, how far in advance should you call them to tell them, come see me? You should fly one of them in, if you have to. You couldn't get a hotel room when the Shriners come in town. Guess how many people are going to be watching your program? They'll come and buy a car from you because you support them. You know, like I give a lot, you know, my philosophy when I had my dealership is, and still is to this day, is we give to 3 different organizations. We give to kids, anything that kids need, anything the police people need, anything what? The fire department need. That's just me. There's other people that give to certain other organizations. Bring that person in and have him come up to your show, not necessarily telling you how much you give, but tell him, hey, it's because of good businesses like this we're able to help those people. It's time for us to hook people in the right way. Now, another way that we can go with infomercial is do the 5-minute infomercial. Dan, we have experienced some really incredible results with that, right? And these are segments that what we do, guys, is we go in and we create that segment. As in buy all the TV ads before and after the news, and we run your infomercial for 5 minutes. Oh my goodness. Incredible results. Amazing. And it's not available in every market, but we're able to use a lot of leverage because we're dialed in with some of our joint venture marketing companies that we do. We buy $35–40 million worth of media right now. So, I mean, we have some good solid leverage. And Dan is the kind of guy that sits on behind the TV and or a computer and doesn't leave for 14–15 hours. He compares this rate, compares that rate, do this, do that. I mean, it's insane. I couldn't do it. I'm glad he's doing it. What ends up happening is you don't have the time to go and make 100 phone calls, but somebody is equipped, dialed, and programmed to make those 100 calls, and they make those calls for you and they bring them in. And what we want to do is we start right there. We start with the guy next door to you. And then we take it out and out and out. Like we flew in one time and a comedian, right? We have an Elvis impersonator coming in, and what we want him to do is talk about the car business during the infomercial. Make it a skit about the car guys. Anyway, moving right along. I'm giving you all these examples with the understanding that I'm not asking you to get your business. I'm just telling you what we do, how we did it. And by the way, I did that when we did the Dreammaker show. And Bill, tell them, how was it? It was the #1 rated show in Charlotte, North Carolina, the 24th market in the nation, ahead of Good Morning America at 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, we couldn't sit down and have dinner. For me and you, Joe, for example, we couldn't have sit-down dinner without people jumping in like idiots everywhere. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's really crazy. And it's very humbling. And in other situations where a lot of nice people, hey, how you doing? Can I take a picture with you? Can I get your autograph and all that? But there's some crazy people say, Dreammaker! And they scare the heck out of you, you know? They jump in. I'm sure you're having that right now. I mean, they're insane. And girls doing, anyway, moving right along. All right, how often should you change your blind infomercials? Blind. The nationally produced one. Every 3 or 4 months. And the brand? 10 to 14 days. Now the rule is to spend less on the branding. Like a blind infomercial is going to cost you anywhere from $50 to $60, maybe $100,000 to produce one. And it's insane for you to go and spend your own because in 4 months it's going to be gone. But that being said, you can always lease them, rent them, or buy them from other different companies. But on the brand, 10 to 14 days. 10 to 14 days. That's what you want to keep flipping them. We already talked what works and what doesn't work. What doesn't work is for you to scream bad credit, incredible credit, come see us. That doesn't work. It might work for a little bit. Sooner or later, you're toast. And we're always thinking what? Long term.